Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your home for gaming, tech, news, and reviews. In today's video, we are going to talk about Yoshinori Ono, the executive producer of Street Fighter, resigning. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, on August 9th, Ono had a tweet that I would say surprised a lot of people, myself included. It really surprised me, to be honest with you. That tweet, the too long didn't read version because there is quite a bit of text here, basically states after 30 years, Ono is leaving the company. He's leaving his position as executive producer of the Street Fighter series, and he's leaving Capcom altogether. If you're unfamiliar with Ono, what work he did and what games he worked on, I will leave a link to this Wikipedia page in the description below. There is a lot of great information here, but basically he did start out as a music producer and worked his way up to executive producer on a lot of fighting games. He was heavily involved in fighting games and the Street Fighter series. Ono is often regarded as the person who brought Street Fighter back. And what I mean by that is he is often referred to as the person who made Street Fighter 4 happen when Capcom really didn't want it to. It was referred to as the unwanted child, and Ono kept pushing through and made Street Fighter 4 happen, which gained him a lot of fame. Ono is also the person behind Street Fighter 5, which arguably is not the most well-received Street Fighter in the series. Now, there are two big questions that people are asking right now. The first one, why did he leave? The second question, what does this mean for Street Fighter? Now to tackle the first question, why did Ono suddenly quit his role as executive producer of Street Fighter and leave the company altogether after being with them for 30 years. 30 years is an incredibly long period of time to be with a single company for, and to abruptly leave is very odd without any sort of real explanation. We don't have any concrete facts as to why he left. All that's up there right now is really just a bunch of rumors. One of the rumors is posted on Eventhubs. I will leave a link to this in the description below, but it basically states that Street Fighter 6 was slated for a 2021 release and was delayed due to poor reception from testers. Ono apparently wanted to make Street Fighter 6 a team-based game, and the testers didn't like it. There are also rumors out there that Ono was an incredibly hard person to work for. He didn't really listen to advice. He ended up burning out different employees. He pushed people to their limits and people weren't happy. And as a result, Capcom wasn't happy and ended up demoting him a bunch of different times. Again, this is just all rumor right now, but it's all we got. And now for the second question, what is going to happen with Street Fighter 6? And unfortunately, there are a lot of rumors here too. First one is that Midori Yuasa, I think I pronounced that right. If I didn't, I apologize. Anyways, Midori here apparently is going to be replacing Ono as the executive producer for Street Fighter 6. However, John D., who used to work for Capcom, states that Matsumoto and Nakayama will be holding the reins for Street Fighter 6. And now I asked John a question as to whether or not he thought they had enough time to mold the game the way they wanted. What I'm getting at here is, do both of these people have enough time if Street Fighter 6 was poorly received and it's in a certain state? Do they have to carry on Ono's vision, or can they write their own vision of what they want Street Fighter 6 to be? For example, if Ono was actually pushing a team-based fighting game and nobody liked it, do they have to tweak the team-based fighting game in order to release it, or can they completely rewrite the game into something different? And John's response, simple and straightforward, true to his brand, says yes. So basically, John thinks that they will have enough time. Both of those people, actually all three people I just mentioned, if they are working on Street Fighter 6, they have more than enough time to mold the game exactly the way they want. If Ono's vision for the game maybe wasn't necessarily anyone else's vision, hopefully Street Fighter 6 will be taken in a direction that's happy for everybody. Now, in regard to timing, a lot of people, myself included, thought Street Fighter 5 was on its last legs, and I guess it technically is if you take an extended point of view. But just recently, Street Fighter V announced Season 5, which carries into fall of 2021 and even into 2022. So Street Fighter V still has a little bit of a runway ahead of it before Street Fighter VI will be expected. Now for my thoughts on the matter. In regard to Ono leaving the company after 30 years, I personally think he would probably either leave, one, if he was completely unhappy with what he was doing, or number two, he was forced out. I don't think he would necessarily just say one day, hey, I don't feel like working for Capcom anymore. See you later. Especially that far into development for Street Fighter VI, if it was into development. Spending 30 years with the company, I mean, he put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and there are some articles where he says how much passion he has for the Street Fighter series, so I don't know if him leaving willingly was the case. And realistically, I think he was probably forced out in some way, shape, or form. Maybe he was unhappy because of the positions they were putting him in, which would make sense. Then they're kind of forcing him out and just hoping he's going to quit. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. Maybe we will know in the future, but right now, after 30 years, leaving so abruptly is strange. Now in regard to Street Fighter VI, my opinions on this, I think changing of the guard might actually be a good thing. And hear me out here if you don't agree. First and foremost, Street Fighter V, my biggest problem with Street Fighter V, I have a few problems, but the biggest one is the netcode. The netcode has been atrocious since its launch. It has gotten a little bit better, but it's still pretty garbage. And that's putting it lightly. And someone from the community did fix the netcode to a reasonable extent, and Capcom immediately patched that out so it no longer worked. I think Ono might have had the power to implement GGPO or something of that nature, especially considering now that GGPO is open source and free. But at the same time, if that same situation, if it's a hard-headed situation, maybe Ono just has a vision and he doesn't care what anyone says, then the changing of the guard completely makes sense for Street Fighter VI. If Ono's hands were tied and he couldn't make those changes because of political reasons within the company, then that's a different story altogether. But ultimately, I think a fresh set of eyes for Street Fighter VI after the poor reception of Street Fighter V is probably a good thing. As a huge Street Fighter fan, I really want Street Fighter VI to turn out well, and I've got my fingers crossed and hoping this change is a good one. I'm hoping that maybe some fresh eyes on the situation, or maybe some more creative control from some very heavily invested people in the series might be a good thing. It might mean that Street Fighter VI turns out great, and I really hope it does. On the off chance that it doesn't turn out well, there's always the Street Fighter II series, there's always Third Strike, there's always the Alpha series, there's always Street Fighter IV. There are a ton of great Street Fighter games already in existence, but at the same time, it's also nice to have something that's new that's good as well. Alright, moving on from there, my words to Ono if you do end up seeing this video. First and foremost, thank you for Street Fighter IV and pushing as hard as you did to make Street Fighter IV happen. And best of luck in your future endeavors. To the new creators, I guess, the directors, the executive producers of Street Fighter VI, listen to the community. We have a lot of bad takes, we have a lot of good takes. We are a small but passionate community. Listen to the popular opinions that will help you shape a really good game. Also, make good netcode. Seriously, GGPO is free, it's not difficult to implement. Use it, it's free, it'll save you money, and it'll turn out to be something great. Online is the future of gaming, and if you're not making good online play, it's not going to take off in North America. But anyways, that is all I've got for today, so let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are about Ono leaving Capcom. Why do you think he left Capcom, and what do you think is going to happen with Street Fighter VI? If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Thank you everyone, take care.